Welcome back, Focus Learners, to This Explainer. Today, we are transforming Abdefata Osman Hussein's relationship playbook into a highly actionable roadmap for modern partnership. Listen, if you've ever felt like the rules of relationships completely changed overnight and somehow nobody bothered to hand you the new rulebook, you are in the exact right place. We are going to build a resilient, equitable connection from the ground up. If you look around today, there is a very real, very widespread sense of burnout in modern dating. You've probably heard friends ask, or let's be honest, maybe asked yourself, is there a manual for the modern woman? It's a hugely frustrating question that a lot of guys are asking right now as they try to navigate these shifting expectations. Okay, let's dive into this. Because the truth is, looking for a manual kind of implies you're looking for a way to deal with or control a situation, rather than truly connect with a partner.
And if you've been feeling this friction, I need you to know you are absolutely not alone. Recent surveys show that over 60% of men aged 25 to 40 admit they feel totally confused or uncertain when dating today. Let me just validate that for you right now. This is not a personal failure. You are experiencing the friction of a massive societal shift in real time. The old blueprints have crumbled, and we are all just trying to figure out the new architecture together.
So this explainer is going to be your step-by-step roadmap to move from just dealing with women to authentically partnering with them. We're going to cover 5 key areas: the relationship paradigm shift, debunking the monolithic myth, values, EQ and communication, crafting a shared vision, and finally, redefining roles into equity. Let's get right into it.
Starting with Part 1, the relationship paradigm shift, moving from dealing with to partnering with.
To truly understand modern women, we absolutely have to stop viewing relationships as this tactical game of control or some battle of the sexes. We need to look at the historical context. Looking back over the last century brilliantly illustrates how we got here. In the 1910s, women entered the formal workforce, which planted the seeds of economic independence. Then came political voice through suffrage in the 20s, the revolutionary bodily autonomy of the 1960s, and all the ongoing shifts in household dynamics we see today. She is a product of these evolutions, bringing a much stronger sense of autonomy into partnerships today.
Which brings us to Phase 2, debunking the monolithic myth. Because, spoiler alert, she is not a monolith.
There's this deeply flawed, damaging stereotype out there of the modern woman as this hyper-independent, emotionally guarded, copy-and-paste monolith. But let's look at some real, diverse identities to completely shatter that myth. Think about Eamon in Nairobi, who's building a fast-paced career in tech while deeply nurturing her traditional cultural roots. Or Ngozi in Lagos, a fierce, independent single mother building a legacy for her kids. What about Sade in Accra, who somehow balances a demanding executive career with intense community activism? They are all modern women, but with entirely unique, complex goals. If you want to connect, you have to replace your assumptions with genuine curiosity.
Moving on to Section 3, Values, EQ, and Communication. This is where we build the new foundation.
Since those old, rigid gender scripts are completely gone, what actually holds a relationship together now? Well, it's shared human values. Things like respect, integrity, ambition. But here's the catch. Values aren't enough without emotional intelligence. EQ is no longer just some trendy corporate buzzword or a soft skill. In today's incredibly complex relational landscape, it is an absolute, non-negotiable requirement for a resilient partnership. What's really interesting here is how these exact 5 pillars of EQ actively replace the totally outdated expectation of male stoicism. Self-awareness helps you know your own emotional triggers. Self-regulation gives you the literal superpower of taking a mindful pause before reacting. Empathy allows you to truly walk in her shoes. Breaking free from that old tough guy stereotype isn't just a relief for you, it empowers you to foster real psychological safety in your relationship. And all of this communication and emotional work ties directly back to the incredibly powerful African philosophy of Ubuntu. I am because we are. True, modern connection isn't about dominance, and it certainly isn't about dependency either. It's about 2 complete, whole individuals deliberately choosing to elevate one another.
Next up, Section 4, Crafting a Shared Vision. Finding your collective North Star. Without a shared destination, it is so easy for individual modern ambitions to clash, and couples inevitably drift into subtle resentment. So, here's the vision mapping process to stop that before it starts. Step 1 is the individual dream map. You separately, honestly write down your 5 to 10-year goals across career, family, and finances. Step 2 is the vision unveiling, where you share these maps with pure curiosity and absolutely zero judgment. And finally, step 3 is co-creating the shared map, finding the overlaps to weave a unified tapestry for your future without losing your individuality.
And finally, Section 5, redefining roles and equity. This is where we put equality into action.
So how do you translate these high-level visions into a random Tuesday night? Well, the old way rigidly dictated household chores as women's work based purely on gender. We all know that doesn't fly anymore. The modern, equitable way demands that invisible labor, like meal planning or just noticing we're out of paper towels, is actively seen and divided. You negotiate this stuff based on time, skill, or preference, and you do it entirely without keeping a petty scoreboard on the fridge.
Let's see how this builds into raising kids, too. The old way isolated mothers as primary caregivers and fathers strictly as breadwinners. The modern, equitable way recognizes that both parents must actively share the emotional, developmental, and mental load of parenting. This is revolutionary, guys, because it frees women from solitary burdens, sure, but it also powerfully empowers men to forge much deeper, more vulnerable bonds with their own kids.
And yeah, the exact same logic applies to your financial partnership. The old way often saw one partner handling all the finances, which, let's be real, creates a massive power imbalance. The modern, equitable way demands complete transparency, joint ventures, and shared financial goals. Modern couples simply must have equal say and a shared sense of responsibility for their financial future. And that holds true regardless of who happens to bring in the larger income at any given time.
Now, to make sure these difficult conversations about roles don't spark instant resentment, try these quick, actionable tools. First, swap accusatory phrases like, "you never help," for vulnerable I statements like, "I feel overwhelmed." Second, use the listening mirror. Literally, repeat back what she said to make sure you understood before offering your own opinion. And lastly, actually use that mindful pause during heated moments to collaborate and negotiate rather than trying to enforce rules.
If you take away anything from this explainer today, let it be this core thesis. True partnership acts as a launch pad, not a cage. An equitable, emotionally intelligent relationship doesn't erase your individual identity, it actively fosters it. When you support each other's ambitions without guilt, your flourishing feeds theirs, and your collective growth enhances the entire bond.
So I leave you with this final, provocative thought. Are you ready to stop trying to figure her out as if she's some puzzle to be solved, and instead just start showing up? It is time to drop the outdated game playing, shed the fear of changing dynamics, and step fully into the courageous, deeply rewarding art of modern partnership. The roadmap is right there in your hands. Now, what are you going to do with it?